Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you my mixing template and how I set up a session when I first get files in to mix. So what I'll be doing is showing you the brief process of setting things up to make sure I'm prepped to do all the best work, have things organized, and I can start working and controlling things on a fine level but also on a meta level as well. Prepping a session for mixing is really essential in getting a really quick workflow, being organized, and being able to make changes and move on the fly quickly. What I want to do is set up the file so that I can get into the creative zone when I'm mixing and I don't have to think too much about logistics and stop and take a long time to do things. So what I do is I set up auxiliary channels, I bus different tracks to auxiliary channels, and I can blend those things in. It's a really great method in my opinion because it allows you to blend in a lot of different effects and different flavors as you go, and it does not take a lot of time. So let's take a look at that. Now that I have my stems in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to group them and put them in folders based on the instrument or the group of instrument. So for instance, synths I might put together, bass elements I might put together, drums I'm going to put together, and I'm going to group them together so they can access them easily, because this project has, let's see how many stems we have here. 172. All right, 172. Okay, so let's get started with that. First up, I see I've got a bunch of drums up here. So this particular artist, his name is Ian, he's really good about grouping his instruments together with this many tracks. It's really, really helpful. So I'm going to go to there, and I see those are all different drums. So I'm going to put those into a folder, create track stack. And right here, I've got a choice between folder and a summing stack. I'm going to choose a folder stack. It's a little bit simpler. It just basically organizes them in a folder. A summing stack is interesting because it kind of acts as an auxiliary bus. You can put different processing on that particular channel, and it's convenient in a lot of ways, but sometimes the organization for the way I use buses is a little easier just with the folder stack. So you can experiment with both if you're trying. Okay, so I'm going to create that, and we're just going to call this drums. Okay, next up, we're going to see what these looks like. Vocals are next. So I'm going to just bring this in a little bit, and just here. So you best do it. So vocals, this is all vocals. Chukka is, my guess is that's guitar. Can't go back. Yep. All right, so let's take these vocals, and we're going to add these in a new channel. So we got 3 vocal tracks right there. So all this prep work just leads to an easier time when you're mixing, and you can really get in the creative zone more. So I often have to listen to these to figure out what they are so I can group them. So this one's just named Instrument 8, Clouded Jupiter 8. So that, my guess, is more synths. Okay. So Juno, I imagine this is synths. Okay, so basically all these, let's check this horn. That might be a synth horn. Yeah. We're gonna add that to the synths so we can process from. Okay, now I'm gonna leave this one with the bass here, and if there's more basses, I'll group them together. But all these synths I'm going to group together because these kind of go together here. Similar sound, and I'm already thinking ahead to the processing I'm going to use on them, so I'll group these together. Now I'm going to use this. This one I'm going to use a summing stack on because the way I'm going to do the processing with these synths, I just think it's going to be easier for me. So I will do that. The difference you can see is when it creates a channel here, you've got the ability to put plugins and processing on it, whereas these ones here, you do not. I'm not going to group those with the synths. I'm going to group these as an organ group because I'm going to treat those organs a little bit differently than I am the classic synths. So this is awesome because this is, I don't know how many people were in it, but it's a 30 stem choir. So I think we're getting into this now. And I'm really excited to hear what these different tracks are. Okay, so all these are organ or choir tracks.
Some quiet plot in your hometown. Wives, all your sons have got their own wives. So
These two are lead vocal tracks, so I'm bringing those back into the lead track, and then I'm going to group these choirs together. Okay. So let's put that in there. Okay, so now we've got the puzzle of the vocals. We've got our drums in one place. We've got piano, synth. We've got a bass right here that's on its own, a few organs, and then we get into this huge, massive choir.
Oh, 'cause you can't go there, so you best do.
All right, so this choir, what should we do with this choir? Let's put this choir into... I'm going to put this choir into a summing folder because I think it's just going to be a good way to work with this. Okay, so highlight that. And we'll say create text stack and summing stack. So now the beauty is that all this huge, massive session with over 100 tracks can be condensed down into something this simple. And right here, I've got these auxiliary tracks that control a lot of things. And so I'm going to be able to control the overall levels with these and be able to work individually in the levels with this. So that's the way I set up a session. So that highlights the way I set my session up. I hope that is able to help you and you can help organize your sessions a little better. It really makes for a more pleasant workflow, just a little bit of work in the beginning. Saving templates is a big time saver. So hit me up if you have questions. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.